Hi, I'm Tim Whitmire with First Integrity Mortgage. Joining me today, Brian McGovern with Title Resources. Thank you
Yeah.
for joining me.
Thanks, Tim. This is great. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. So, I met Brian with networking, and of course, with Title Resources. He's out in the world networking as well, and he's been in the business for a good amount of time,
Yeah,
and just generally the real estate business, and just a great person. And I wanted to introduce him to my audience.
perfect.
So let me ask you this: so Title Resources, what brought you to Title Resources?
Yeah, so like you said, I've been in the space for a while. Over a decade, I've been in the real estate industry. I was same as you, a loan officer for nearly a decade, and when rates changed, I jumped ship. But I got into title, so I took over Title Resources Inc. Actually, and I'm rebranding for easy memory, thetitleguy.com, because Title Resources Inc. is a mouthful for people, and it's easy to remember the Title Guy. So, yes, Title Guy with Title Resources Inc. And so about a year ago, the beginning of 2023. I had the opportunity to take ownership into Title Resources Inc. and wanted to bring a different feel from what I felt when I was on the lending side of how title works, implementing new technology, better customer experience and service. Not that it doesn't exist now, but that's going to be my approach on it and has been over the past year. And, really setting the foundation, meeting people like you through networking of when the industry takes a turn and improves, we'll be ready to support that at a large scale.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know you mentioned technology as being a big thing for you.
Yeah.
So, because I know with title companies and working with customers and realtors that the security is important. And when we talked earlier, you mentioned how the systems that you have in place will be more secure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was I've been very fascinated with automation, artificial intelligence for quite some time. Leading up to the pandemic in 2020, I was all in on automation and what was going to happen and and then my conspiracy brain went down a rabbit hole during the whole pandemic of that. But I've taken that fascination in technology and how can we implement it in our space. And when I got into the title space, one of the big concerns is wire fraud. It's rampant. It's very scary. And as technology improves, it means it's easier for scammers to scam someone, commit fraud with AI. Your buyer has on average 12 different people interacting with them during a 30-day process. So it's easy for them to get someone that hacked an email and did things like that. What um, made me actually experience we had was someone bought the domain Title Resources Inc. Instead of INC, they bought LNC. So the
Oh my
email
gosh.
address looked very similar, and I thought that was very creative of them. I was able to detect it and catch it very quickly. But that made me think even further. How how do I create a more secure environment other than just having my IT department and having encrypted emails to avoid that? So I'm onboarding a process that is a cloud-based security portal. So it
Okay.
will eliminate all of those interactions via email with email chains with 12 people on them and scamming it. Your buyer they'll get an email, but it'll be a link to log into the secure portal and we'll communicate through there. You as a lender will be able to communicate through there. The realtor and has the wire instructions, has all of those components, automation implemented into it. But it's the most secure system there is right now in this space. So will really reduce that fear of wire fraud because it'll be in this secure space. Has the pizza tracker that everyone likes. So if you're stressing out at midnight and I don't want you to call me, you can just log into the portal and see what's happening. And same with your buyer and your realtor. And what's great is since it is cloud based, that's forever storage. We don't charge for that. So 5 years down the road, usually I'll get a buyer, hey, I need my warranty deed. They can just log in and they'll have access to all that. And it goes a step further, puts me at the forefront of e-closing. So I'm e-closing certified. I can close sellers and cash buyers all electronically, so we can do a Zoom call, looking at focusing on being more efficient with people's time. Now, of course, I want to be available and do in-person closings
Sure.
for that
Yeah.
that experience, but not everyone wants that or needs that. And at some point, the lenders will be federally approved for RON, remote online notarization, and we'll be at the forefront being able to offer that service as well.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's not only more secure, it's also more efficient.
Yes. That's the big thing, and I'm really positioning my company in a great space with that. Number one, security. I mean, I think everyone can be happy with that. The last thing a lender or a realtor wants is the buyer to call them and say, like, yeah, I already sent my $50,000 for closing, and there's a deal not closing, but also there's a lot of lawsuits happening after that.
That's terrifying.
Yes, I think we're all terrified of that. Obviously, it's horrible for the person that lost the money, but it usually means title companies, lenders, realtors are getting sued, wrong, right, or indifferent. That's just how it goes. So really having that security is I'm extremely excited about, but the only people I see investing into this is your national title service providers that do not have the customer service touch that we will provide.
Right.
I still pick up the phone. I always preach proactive solutions. So let's call our buyers with a title commitment and review it together versus just being uploaded into the system. And then at closing, they're wondering what all of this jargon means, or reviewing their survey at the closing. So being proactive and being that, customer touch experience with implementation of technology kind of provides that boutique feel that a lot of the title companies here that are local, you're organic, it's the title company next door. That's what people like.
Yep.
But they don't have the same technology that these large national title companies are investing in, and we are as well. So I'm really excited about implementing that into the space and being a trailblazer for that.
Yeah, I love that. So it's really best of both worlds.
Yeah.
You have your local business, you still have locations here in town, yet also have the capability of the national title companies like
Yeah.
you're talking about.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
that's huge. So you also have mobile closing ability,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah. So that's, as I said, a big component is how can I make it easy for everyone and provide a great customer experience. So I have my office in Kirkwood, Missouri. I do satellite offices in Troy, Illinois. So I'm licensed in Missouri, Illinois, and then other states as well. But for this purpose, that's all that matters. And Troy, Illinois, and St. Charles, Missouri. But I'll go close wherever. At the lender's office, at the realtor's office, at the buyer's work, seller's work, because I just came from that mentality. I used to drive, to Chicago every week, 5 hours there, 5 hours back to meet with people face to face. I really believe it's a very important transaction. In most cases, it's the biggest purchase of someone's life. So I want to make it simple and easy from the title side because it is a stressful process. You're looking at, as I said earlier, 12 different parties. If you're buying a house, you're looking at, home inspector, you got movers, you got your lender, your
So
realtor, the
many people
buyers,
involved.
like,
Yeah.
and then your spouse is finally seeing your horrible credit and all your debt. And she's mad at you or he's mad at her, or, it's just a stressful environment. So if I can be the component that doesn't create stress, I'm going to do everything I can to reduce that. So yeah, we'll do mobile closings, and man, I would say over 50% of my closings have been mobile in 2023. So people do like it. It's very easy for them, and it keeps my cost down too. People are like, "Oh, that's expensive." Well, I don't have 20 locations that I'm paying rent on.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So people are like, "Oh, yeah." No, it's like, no, there's the other people that are connected to the realty office or all those. Like, they're paying.
There's a cost of brick and mortar.
Yeah, there's the brick and mortar cost, and you got more printers and more computers and all those things. And I just got a little mobile scanner. I keep, I can still fund real quickly and get all those things done. And we get to see some different locations, which is, always nice and exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's huge.
Yeah.
So you're all about technology, efficiency, excellent customer service.
Yes.
And I just feel like with your background, our background, we operate in a very, very similar way and is very customer centric.
Yeah.
And that's something I appreciate about you.
Yeah. Yeah. When you and I initially met, that was the things you were telling me you were doing and where you're at. First Integrity is doing. I was like, hey, this is
It's a
right
fit.
up my,
Yeah, right.
I've lived that way, and that's who I like to connect with, people that are educational to the client and provide a good structure and system, and not just putting them into whatever pays the most money to the lender or title company or realtor or best house, like really looking at and understanding the client's needs. So that was a transition from the title side. Is I don't have as much customer facing approach, so I had to find the components of understanding what moments do I have that I can interact with them, and really from their perspective understand how to make it easier. So I look at it of once they go under contract, how I can communicate with them and call and introduce the process and explain the title process. No one knows what title services do. You'll be on my closing. What's title insurance? You're doing a title examination and abstracting what. So explaining that a little bit so they know what they're paying for, and educating them on that. And then, like I said earlier, title commitment, title survey. I like to review that with people so they understand what it is that document just came in front of them, and they know, are there easements on their property? Is the boundary line? Is the fence a foot over on their side or their side? Is that a big deal? Maybe not. Maybe it is to you. Do you want to pick a fight with your new neighbors? I don't know, but hey, it's an old fence. Let's just know the next time we replace the fence, let's move it over 6 inches. Explaining those things, I think is important. So I get to have that customer facing moment there. And then obviously closing, that's the big one, and scheduling that closing. And that's where we, try to understand what's convenient, for everyone to be in person, or is it electronically closing? Is it coming to my office?
So what do you want?
Yeah.
And we're going to try to do what's going to be appropriate for you.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yeah, that's perfect. So if someone would like an introduction to you or would like to talk to you, what's the best way for them to reach you?
Yeah, so easy memory, thetitleguide.com
I like it.
is going to be the best and easiest way. It has all my contact information on there. You get to learn more about me, learn more about Title Resources Inc., my company. And there's, educational, as I said, so it can kind of outline different services we provide, whether if you're buying or refinancing a home or selling a home, commercial or residential. Those are typically what you think of for a title company, and we do those things. But also
Sure.
deed work, if you need a beneficiary deed and you're not prepared to get into a trust for a couple $1,000s, we can do a simple beneficiary deed, or referred to as transfer on death. So what happens to your property after you pass away? You're trying to avoid probate for your heirs. So we do a lot of a deed work too. And then just, little bios on me and my team. My team's great. Tons of experience within the space and closing, examining, abstracting. So, you're working with great professionals.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
And then if you would like a warm introduction to Brian, I'm also to provide that. Happy to provide that to you as well.
Yeah,
So,
a referral from Tim. People I know, that's always great because they can brag on me or tell you the truth about me. So yeah, reach out to Tim, and he can connect us and go from there.
awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Tim.